Hello, welcome to our first podcast for what we're calling Bald Guys Doing Football, the BGDF show. I'm Eric Nisnik, and my co-host and color commentator is Dave Kochanowski. What's up, Dave?
Hey, Eric. Not much. Just enjoying tonight, watching a little baseball and getting ready to talk a little football.
Now, with baseball, are you like rooting for anybody, or like does it really matter at this point? Because I've got a playoff team going. Where are you at?
So at this point, with my championship belt, and that doesn't really matter behind me, I'm rooting for Matty to lose, and all his teams, whoever they may be, all to lose. No, I'm just enjoying it. I know that next year I'll probably win, so I'm looking forward to it. And even if I'm a Trump, I'd love to have you guys all over and have some fun.
Quick shout out to Maddie. Thank you for letting us use your login for this Zoom meeting. So, do we have any sponsors for this show, by the way?
Right now, we're working on a couple things. Some former NFL stars have been wanting to sponsor us. Rob Gronkowski is in the mix right now. He's working on some, CBD oils, but he also wants to get in on this. Right now, the main sponsor is going to be a little brewing company that we're working on, Inception Brew Company, owned partly by me, and that will be the main sponsor of this company. So we'll always be talking about beer. I did see this one podcast. The one redeeming quality of it was they had a beer of the week. So I think we're going to steal that.
And that brings us to our next segment. What is your beer of the week?
My beer of the week. I am going to grab it. It is fall time. It is time for a dark beer. Local brewery down south, 350 Brewing, Mecca versus Coco. And it is a barrel-aged bourbon stout. But it actually has vanilla, coconut, and it is amazing. It's like a bourbon Samoa cookie in a glass. It's awesome. So I highly recommend it.
And for mine, I am doing a O'Fallon salted caramel pumpkin beer. It tastes like salted caramel. It's amazing. So, yeah, kind of a cool little thing. So that moves us to our next segment. We're going to be calling this 2-minute drill. And essentially what it is it's going to be a quick question to start off the show that we're hoping we can throw out a quick survey monkey. And you're basically Dave and I are going to debate our points, and hopefully you guys can respond. Who won the debate? So to start off, we figured we'd tie it into, our fantasy draft and everything like that. We're going to start it off with, is Josh Allen a good fantasy quarterback? So, Dave, go ahead. Is he a good quarterback?
I guess maybe on fantasy he's okay if my quarterback died or was retiring suddenly, and I had Kirk Cousins and I needed to grab a quarterback that nobody would bid on. I put him as a poor man, maybe a white guy, Tyrod Taylor. So we'll hope that he gets a lot of rushing touchdowns because he can't fucking throw for him.
So that's Dave's opinion, and this is hopefully will sway you guys because I actually brought up facts. So fact.
Go for
it. And I love it because we'll use Laura's quarterbacks. Kirk Cousins, just Josh Allen. Let's look at Josh Allen because this is actually going to paint a picture of why I'm not as high on your team as you might be. So you got Kirk Cousins, who finished at quarterback 13 last year. Josh Allen finished at quarterback 21. Right away, you're going, Niz, you're losing this argument. But he was a rookie, and he started off in his first 6 games, Josh Allen did. The first 6 weeks, he only played 1 through 6 before he went injured. He was 10.46 points per game, fantasy points per game. Okay? That's terrible. That's an unstartable fantasy. You shouldn't even have him on your roster. Well, he came back in week 12 last year and played the last 6 games. From weeks 12 to 17, he was ranked number 2 overall quarterback for the last 6 weeks, averaging a 24.21 points per game. Now you look at Kirk Cousins, who had a similar situation. He started off the season real hot. He said with John D. Filippo, which is a passing offensive coordinator.
I need a drink. Hold on.
He averaged 18.6 points per game, so still less. That was his high point, and it was still less than what Josh Allen finished off the season at. And then after John D. Filippo, and this is why I'd be afraid to have a guy like Stephon Diggs or Adam Thielen, they passed a whole heck of a lot less. They're all about the running game, and he only averaged 14.58 points per game fantasy for the last 4 games of the season without John D. Filippo. So to me, it's a no-brainer. Josh Allen is a good fantasy quarterback. He's a back-end quarterback 1 tier.
Back-end quarterback 1 tier? Is that because that extends out to like 20, like quarterback 20? I'm saying he's that out. So wait, I gave you all that time. Don't be a Matty, okay? I don't know where I get that from. It's just an endearing term. Don't talk over me. But what I'm going to say is that's all fancy and that's great. They're on a horrible team. I think I have no idea what wide receiver is on anybody's team from the Bills. Nobody. So you hope that this guy doesn't get hurt. You hope that this guy doesn't get hurt again, because if he does, he gets you nothing. And then you hope that all he does is run. So again, poor man, white man, Tyrod Taylor. So let's hope that he gets lots of rushing touchdowns.
All I gotta say is they got the white guy from Dallas Cowboys that you guys had last year, the possession receiver, and they added was it John Brown? Yeah, John Brown, a stretch player. So I think they improved in wide receivers actually. So
they went from horrible to worse. Or no, wait, I'm sorry, worse to horrible. So Beasley's a great possession receiver. He could be a little steal at the end of the season. We'll see how that goes.
Again, this was supposed to be a 2-minute drill. So what we'll do is we'll leave it to the listeners, and they can tell us who they think is right.
2 minutes yourself.
It's because I did some research, not off the cuff over here. Okay. So now we're going to get into our team rankings. We sort of broke it off into like a 4 tiers type of deal. I would say almost that like our tier 4 is without any like major help. These teams are in trouble. They're just not going to make the playoffs. Tier 3 are bubble teams. They're sort of going to be fighting in the playoff hunt. I wouldn't be surprised if they made it in. But right now, we just think that there's teams better of them than them. Tier 2 is going to be, those back end playoff teams. They're pretty much in it. They're almost guaranteed. And then Tier 1 is the best of the best. These teams are set up without barring any injury. They're the ones that are looking the best. So we'll start off with at least my tier 4 rankings, and then we'll have some debates on some of the ones in there. I have Maddie's team, Darren's, and Sean's in my tier 4. So, Dave, you had?
In mine, we agree on this one. So Maddie, so it's not a surprise. Good luck to him. I got Dom, and then I have Laura on mine. So Sean's not too far off. He's in my tier 3, so we're kind of close on that. And I think those can fluctuate a little bit. But those Dom, Maddie, and Laura would be on my bottom 3. Okay.
So, not to knock on Maddie, I think his biggest struggle, like he's got amazing receivers. Cam Newton, you just don't know if his arm's going to hold up. His running backs need help. Like when you're waiting on Deion Lewis and Kalen Ballage, and I just don't think Keyshawn Johnson, like he can make, or Kerryon Johnson, he can make that next level up possibly, but he's still, to me, is a back end 1, top end running back 2. So he just doesn't have that A player on it. So like he's got one of my worst rankings in the running backs. Where do you have Darren? I'm kind of wondering on this because I have Darren in my bottom tier. You got to realize his running backs are this. Tevin Coleman, who they've been like just bashing in San Francisco, even though he's splitting time with Matt Burrito.
I like him.
But okay, so you got Chris Thompson, you got James White with now a healthy Sony Michel. They added a running back, a healthy Rex Burkhead, and then Duke Johnson. Like Duke Johnson should get the ball, but I like he's unproven. Like Darren doesn't like. Darren has a bunch of running back threes on his team. I don't see like yes, he's got Aaron Rodgers, but his receivers aren't that great. He's got Hunter Henry, which is like a middle tier tight end. I just don't see how you can have him any higher than tier 4.
So to me, he was the tweener. I kind of like his roster. I think he's got potential. I think Duke Johnson, even though they picked up what's his face?
They picked up the guy from
Carlos Hyde.
Carlos Hyde, yeah.
Yeah, they picked up Carlos Hyde, but I think Duke Johnson, he's going to get the opportunity to rise or shine, right? You know, rise and shine or lose. And he could. He can receive. He is the prototypical of what people want. We'll see if he can hold up and take the carries. I think he could. I like Coleman. I really like him. Diggs and Ridley, don't sleep on Ridley, bro. If Julio Jones goes down with his pinky toe, that hurts. And there's plenty of targets to go around. I like Diggs. I know you don't. So that's where we differ. You know, I think Diggs is great. He has had 2 really good seasons. He may not be a number 1, but he's a top tier 2. I think Ridley's a top tier 2 combined. Still, he's on my 3rd tier. Darren's on my 3rd tier. I like what he did. Even though he kept a retired guy.
Yeah, he's still got Baldwin on his team for some reason.
So,
I almost picked his receivers for that.
Who was the guy that you kicked out of the league unceremoniously and kind of meanly? Who was that guy's name?
We'll move on.
Wait, no, we're not moving on. So
because I want to debate this point about Duke Johnson. He's an undersized running back. Like I don't think he can hold up over the year because he's under 220 pounds, and like if you look at it historically, Deshaun Watson has not used a running back to pass to. Like it might be because they had Lamar Miller and they just never had that position there, but he's not used to throwing to that running back. So I just don't see him pulling in the type of numbers that's necessary for him to be any type of impact. Like I don't see him, like I see him a back end 2 at best.
Okay.
Like he's a solid 3.
So I get that. But LaShawn McCoy, small little guy, he had a pretty good career. Duke Johnson's going to get his shot because now there's nobody to timeshare. They took out the running back, so they got no other choice, which is why they have Carlos Hyde on that team. So the funny thing is he dropped Duke Johnson, could have had him $11. I think he paid more for him. There's potential there. We'll see what happens. Nobody knows. Now he's going to get the rock and he's going to have to run with it. So again, we'll move on. But I think he's a tier 2-3 for me.
Okay, so let's look at this. You like I know you don't like these players, but you have Laura in your bottom tier. Her running backs are Le'Veon Bell and what's it called? Here, give me one sec.
David Johnson,
with a Phillip Lindsay to back him up. She's still got the potential in Rashad Penny, who might do something, might come out and stuff. She's got Carlos Hyde, who we just said, might be stealing carries from Duke Johnson. How do you look at that, like that running back tier and go, like, they're like, yeah, I can understand her receivers aren't as good as his, but this league is all about running backs, and she's got some stud running backs.
So this is my theory. So you've already told me Kirk Cousins is horrible. I don't believe in Josh Allen. So she has no quarterback. Galladay and Alshon Jeffries are lucky to be number 2 wide receivers at the back end. Bell has not played, because I know this, has not played in the season. David Johnson, you had him one game and loved him that game, and then 2 games he just got crushed. That team is horrible. They showed it in the preseason. They put their starters out there in preseason and bad, and they'll get around. They'll get better. Their quarterback will start running, which will take away from David Johnson. It's going to happen. So I don't see it. Bell could have a good game, but he hasn't played in a year, and he's on a worse team. He's not on a team that they're going to stack that box, and Bell is not going to make it past the line. So that's my theory on that.
My whole point is I just don't like. Bill has the potential to be look at Darren's running backs and tell me if any of those guys have the potential to be a top 5 guy. David Johnson and Le'Veon Bell have both been top 5 guys. They have potential at least to be top 5 guys. But Darren doesn't have a single running back that could be that.
You're very focused on running backs, and I see that.
Yeah, and just to throw it out there, a lot of my rankings are based off of running back depth.
Right, and you have to understand that having a top 5 running back is great. Most people don't have 2. There's a whole season where these people aren't going to play out. She's not going to have those 2 play out, most likely.
But she's still got a Phillip Lindsay. She's pretty deep in running back. That's what I'm saying.
I like Lindsay. I mean, that is your flex is awesome. I feel like she's going to have to find a tight end because Vance McDonald is already talking about being hurt. He's already gimpy, and he's not made it through a season. Sit down. We've already discussed that.
He's this year's George Kittle. I'll put that out there right now.
Vance McDonald would have to play a whole season to get close to that. So I don't agree with that at all. Calm down, Maddie. Don't talk over me. So, again.
When you say something stupid, I'm going to talk over you. Go for it.
I don't see that. So, all right. But I think we've killed this subject. So, next.
Anyways, Sean, you have Sean outside of the.
We haven't made it past the lower tier right now.
Right, but we're sort of getting into the other tiers. So, I have Sean in there. You have Sean higher. What do you like about Sean's team?
No, I got Sean on my tier 3. I think Sean did a really good job for a returning champion. He's got a guy that's a highly paid quarterback now, so making a lot of money. I like
his quarterbacks.
I like Fournette. Now I do.
Is he going to get the targets?
Maddie, Eric.
I'm asking you. Is he going to get the targets? Just answer that.
I like Fournette for 8 of the 16 weeks that he'll play, and he looks awesome. Ingram, we'll see. He's going to carry the load. I like his backup, which Maddie took from me in the draft. Good job. I think that's going to be the steal of the draft. Boyd, I don't see it. Cooper, I gotta like Cooper. Gotta represent on the boys, but he's already hurt with a foot injury, which is never good. So he's got to have a lot of crossed fingers, hope the injuries don't hit him, and try to get a 3rd championship and be the franchise fantasy god. Not going to happen. So enjoy it. Sell off early. I'll buy Fournette if he's healthy.
So and that's part of my thing is I'm really low on Cooper. I hate Cooper. If you look at the stats, even after he went to the Cowboys, it was like this. It's 1 week really high, 1 week really low. Like that, I do not want on my team. And I don't think he has enough guys to even out that wide receiver team to handle a Cooper, because Cooper's going to get you 30 points, and then he's going to get you 2. And then he's going to get you a 4, and then he's going to get you a 22. Like, that's the problem with him.
Well, and I'll tell you this, too. So I wrote down almost everybody's roster. And after Sean's starting lineup, I didn't write anything after that, which means if the injury bug hits him, he's got to keep his fingers crossed, or he's going to be hurt.
Well, he had somebody in his backup that I actually liked. It was Deebo Samuel. I love Deebo Samuel. I think he's going to be the number 1 out of San Francisco. So, but he's like a deep sleeper. So, all right, let's move on to tier 3. I think
we're on tier 3. Slow down on the salted caramel.
We're on tier 3. I'm actually moved to the s'mores. So tier 3, I've got Brad and Dom. So these are bubble playoff teams. I wouldn't be surprised if they were in it. I think Brad's got some issues at quarterback. His running backs are okay, like they're okay. We hope Todd Gurley. If Todd Gurley's 80% of what he was last year, he's got a top 5 running back. His receivers are amazing. I like his tight end, but I don't love it, and I like his defense and kicker. Dom, to me, has really good quarterbacks and just okay across the board on everything else. And that's pretty surprising. I'm okay with his running backs, surprising because he sort of tapped out of the draft at some point and just stopped drafting. So
I think right there has an answer to how you evaluate teams. So I put Dom lower. You like his running backs, so you got him in tier 3. I put him a little lower because I looked at the whole thing and I don't feel it. And if you look at Sean and Darren and Brad and Dom, other than Laura, it's we have the same people in tier 2 and 3 fluctuating back and forth.
right.
I look at Brad. Brad could be up to a tier 1. He's got some good components to it. Dalvin Cook, Josh Jacobs. Dalvin Cook's got to make it through a season, and who knows what Josh Jacobs is going to do, but I'll take him, you know.
You mean Brandon Cooks?
I do. Sorry. So, but I like what he's doing. He's got a shot to it. We'll see what happens.
He was the hardest for me because I love his receivers. Look at his receivers: Devontae Adams, Brandon Cooks, Alshon Jeffrey, Will Fuller. I love Alshon this year. I think a year removed from the ACL, he's gonna catch 80 passes and be, I think he's a borderline wide receiver 1, and I think Devontae Adams is the safest wide receiver in the entire draft. I don't care about the Hopkins or anything like that. If you're Aaron Rodgers, number 1, he last 3 seasons he's had double-digit touchdowns. I mean, he's just guaranteed to be a wide receiver 1. So yeah, I like Brad's team a lot. It was hard for me to bring him down. My issue is his quarterbacks. I just don't know if he can stream. Garoppolo's just looked terrible, and I don't know what Winston's going to be. And then, other than his top 2 running backs, I'm just worried.
I was looking at the wrong team. My bad. So I look at Melvin Gordon. Will he come back? I don't think so. If he does, holy shit.
It's week 10. It's week 10. I mean.
Wait. No. It is what it is. Ezekiel Elliott wasn't going to come back, and Pollard was going to be the greatest starter ever and, worth $15, and now he's worthless. So, you never know what's going to happen. But if he had, imagine Melvin Gordon and Todd Gurley, again, injury concern. If those 2 guys, if he comes back and that guy plays most of the season, there's your top 5 running backs, top 10 running backs when they play. Right? Brandon Cooks, like him. Devontae Adams, love him. Awesome. Damian Williams, a lot of questions. Most places are saying that he ain't going to make it through the season. Nobody knows.
And they just picked up LaShawn, too.
Don't like that situation, but you never know. Trey Burton already hurt. He's a wussy Bears player. Guys that don't want to even be on the team. They're talking about psychologically he can't handle it. That's a bad buy right there. Quarterbacks. I like Winston. They're supposed to throw it. I got Godwin. They better fucking throw it. I know Maddie's got Evans. They better fucking throw it. And those are 2 really good wide receivers. They got OJ, good tight end, supposed to break out. So we'll see. That running back situation in Tampa is bad, but I like him. I like Winston. He's my starter.
The only thing about Winston that I don't like is he's always has a high interception rate, and that. That's my biggest knock on him. Is he's going to throw it. He'll get you the close to 30 touchdowns, maybe even surpass the 30 touchdowns. So he'll support a lot of those players, but I think he gets knocked back because he's a 3-2 guy every week. He throws 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions.
He reminds me of the guy that played in Buffalo. He played in Cleveland. He ran a lot, but he threw a ton of picks.
No, Tyrod didn't throw a lot. You're done. All right, so who do you have in your tier 2?
He threw picks. Let me check. Tier 2. PJ. I really that tier 2-1. I like PJ. Scotty, same thing. Tier 2 and 1 can be interchangeable. I like PJ and Scotty more than the next two guys, which is me and Eric Nisnick. I'm sorry. Yeah. So PJ, Scotty, me, Nisnick. I like those teams. I think they did a good job. I may be homering. Maybe I didn't. Sometimes you look through tinted glasses.
No, I have you in tier 2 too. Who do you have? My only issue with you is I bet you're higher on your receivers than I am, and you lack running back depth.
So I mean, I know you don't like people in purple.
I just think they're going to run it a lot. Like, I love Dalvin Cook. I don't like the receivers right now.
I lived through it end of last season. I know what I'm getting into, but for $11, he's worth it. So I had to do it. And then Godwin is a finger cross, and people are saying he could surpass Mike Evans. I don't know. You know, I'm hoping he does. And then I got Landry. The guy had 14 receptions 2 years ago. And now he has an even better guy playing on opposite side, and he's the slot. So I wanted Odell, not going to lie, with Baker, trying to tie it together. And it would have been a lose or win season. And now I got Landry, and we'll see what happens.
So let's go over who's your tier 1, just so we can finish this off and we can debate, like, who's tier 1, why do you have somebody in tier 1 versus tier 2.
Tier 1, and it kills me to say these guys because coming off a baseball season, just seeing how they manage teams. Ken motherfucking Fong.
Yeah, he's tier 1 for me.
It hurts me. A little acid reflux. And Guillermo Escobar, my owner and main owner and amazing business partner, Escobar. I can't believe it. Somebody got lucky on a quarterback.
So that's where we differ. Like, I think he gets a bump because he's got Patrick Mahomes.
Wait. Let me answer this, because he's got Tariq Cohen, and he's not a top 5 running back, because evidently there's 50 of them out there.
I mean, when I look at it, the reason why I have Ken in there is Ken can literally lose 3 running backs, and he's still got 2 starting running backs on his team.
So this is how I feel like right now. If you needed to relax and just release, you would look at Ken's lineup, because there's a lot of running backs.
I love it.
Get you off.
So, like, really, I mean, he's got James Conner, who's a back-end 1 to me. He's got Tariq Cohen, who's a back-end 2. And then after that, he's got nobody. Naeem Hines is not really good. Like, he's a guy, like, he's borderline ownable. Ronald Jones, borderline ownable. Kareem Hunt, I don't think should be owned. Like, as a dynasty, yes, maybe. But he's not going to – hold on. Let me finish my point.
Put him on the IR already.
He's not gonna play until week 10. So his running backs hold on, let me finish my point. His running backs behind those top 2 are very, like, if one of them goes down, he's done. That's why I can't put him up there. His receivers are amazing. He's got the best receivers out there.
Calm down. You just hit your computer and it's all over the place now. So I agree. We're talking about Guillermo, Memo, the Voice, Escobar. He's got to manage this team, and he hasn't done it yet. Now, I made this based off of the draft.
Right.
I like his team, but he has already not put Hunt on the IR and picked up somebody to take that spot.
Right. So, and that's my issue with Ken. Like, these teams aren't perfect up at the top. Like, Ken's receivers are, like, nothing to really, like, write home about. Like, Cooper Kupp might not even play the first week because he's still.
Wait a minute. Wait. You were high on Cooper Kupp. Are you trying to do him?
I think he's still going to be okay.
Are you trying to?
So here's one of the major differences I have is I think PJ's in tier 1. I know you put him in tier 2, and you said he was borderline.
Oh,
but
he's a tweener. He could be a tier 1 for sure.
Yeah, Luke Jackson, Russell Wilson, I gave him a B+ as far as receiver or quarterbacks go. Running backs, he's solid. He's an A-. Receivers, he's a B. Just because I think you don't like. I'm worried about Beckham just because he always gets injured. He only plays, he only plays a handful of games every season. Antonio Brown is freaking crazy. But if those two hit, like, he's got the best team. He's got Zach Ertz, his defense kicker. Who cares? I mean, but I think he's a tier 1, definitely tier 1.
We'll see.
Memo, I told you I put him down. I have Laura in tier 2. I have myself.
You're in tier 2?
Yeah, I have myself in tier 2. I don't think I suck at anything. Yeah, I don't think I suck at anything. But like, I'm not.
Well, wait.
The only thing I'm great at.
I got my notes here. Hold on.
The only thing I'm great at is my quarterbacks. I have the 2nd and the 4th best quarterback overall.
You have Watson. Who's your other quarterback?
Matt Ryan.
Yeah, I like him. Who's your 2nd running back?
In all honesty, I'm hoping in the beginning of the season it's between the 3 guys I have, Matt Breida, Peyton Barber, Adrian Peterson. I think Miles, I'm super high. Like, he was my one guy going into the
Wait
draft.
a minute, Mr. Running Back. Who is your 2nd running back? You have Kamara.
It's going to start off with Matt Breida, I think, and then I'm going to have transition to Miles Sanders.
Matt Breida, the backup on the 49ers?
No.
Yeah.
He's going to be better than Coleman this year.
Shit,
I'll take that bet.
I'm going to have to lower you. Wait a minute. So, Breida, I put Barber?
I got a bunch of tier 3 guys that are like borderline tier 2. I'm not going to lie.
This is fucking crazy. I didn't expect this to happen during this podcast where the motherfucker talking about running backs and how great you have to have running backs on your team. No wonder why you're trying to make a trade. Saying running backs, I'm going to have to downgrade you to tier 3.5.
Okay.
Honestly, based off of your scale system, although you do have good quarterbacks, one of them's a runner, and I know you like running quarterbacks because Josh Allen would be your pickup if he was still available today.
So here's my thing, though, is I honestly think Miles Sanders at the end of the year will be a RB2. I don't think at the beginning of the year.
I could see that. I'm not going to argue with that. I like that pickup, and I bid on him, but I didn't have a lot of money going into it. I'm just saying I'm going to demote you down to tier 3 just to make a little bit of room for myself.
So let's do playoff predictions. Who do you got going to the playoffs this year?
Playoff predictions. So, based off of who I felt was different tiers and who are in their divisions, I see PJ and Memo coming out of their division. I see Ken coming out of his division. I see Scott coming out of his division. And then it comes down to Darren and Eric in the last division. One of them will win. And then kind of between whoever loses that, me making the playoffs on the wild card from those 2.
So I've got Scott, Ken, PJ, Memo. I'm sorry, Scott, Ken, PJ, you as a lock, and then I have myself only because I think my division's kind of weak, and then I have between Laura and Memo as the other spot.
Yeah,
here's the thing.
Pretty close.
I honestly think, like, I have Memo as in a lock if I think he, like what you were saying, the issues that we said, like, this is more than just the tiers after the draft. This is talking about management. He needs to shore up some stuff on his team. Like you said, he needs to open up a spot and everything, get rid of or get Hunt on the IR. And it's just, is he going to manage it the right way? So that's why I have him as a borderline playoff team right now. I think his team's excellent out of the draft, but it really matters. Like, he loses one running back, and he's really down to shit. Like, it's nothing.
I mean, basically, we have 5 of the 6 in there, and we
Right.
differ on that last spot. So, good luck to everybody that's not in there, and good luck to everybody that's in there. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go over this week's matchups. I sort of have what what I put on here what they're expected. It's kind of nice because unlike the baseball stuff, they give you a prediction, so we can go off of that and we can see who the favorite is. Let's do the first matchup. We got PJ over Brad. PJ's expected to win this one at 122.85 over 112.42. Who do you think's going to win this?
So I think they both got good teams, but I've got PJ ranked at least right now, slightly better in that area. So I'm going to go PJ. I'm trying to pull the matchups right now. I had it, but I'm off of that particular page. But I'm going to go PJ on this one. I think he's just got the slightly better team, at least coming out of preseason.
So I actually think this one's closer. I think they have some of Brad's receivers ranked kind of low, and I think they're kind of unsure on Gurley on this. So I think PJ will squeeze a win just because I like his team a little bit better. But I don't see a 10-point differential here. I see this one a lot closer. I can see Brad winning it, but I do think PJ for the week one's got to win here.
Yeah. You want to put a number on that? Should we 6-4, 5-5?
Just randomly guess a number.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna say on that one, 122.5 to 118.
Okay, so Memo versus Dom. Memo's a big favorite in this one, 122.93 over Dom for 107.13. I would agree with this. I think even though I have Dom as like a borderline, like on that cusp, I just think Josh Jacobs, his running backs right now, that's the big thing. I think his receivers will be fine. I think his quarterbacks will be fine. I just don't. I don't see his running backs living up. So it's right in the beginning. So I agree. I think Memo's going to run away with this one. Really, the only thing that scares me is Patrick Mahomes at Jacksonville. The only team to hold Patrick Mahomes to 0 touchdowns last year was Jacksonville.
Wow. Evidently, you've done your research. And I'm going to say, because I put him number 1, we're going to go Memo. I was just thinking that it's a running quarterback sometimes, so maybe he could lose. But I'm going to go Memo just because he's a tier 1. Going to go based off that.
Okay. Then we got next matchup is Ken versus Sean. Ken's the favorite, about 10 points. Same thing like a PJ Brad thing. 121.85 to Sean's 111.21. Again, I love Ken's team. I think he could be higher, especially with some of the matchups here. Nick Chubb and McCaffrey against the teams that they're playing at. I could see Ken scoring 150 points this week. So
this Asian love that you have is kind of awkward.
I love his running backs. You all I've talked about. I want if his running backs was a person, I would suck the dick of his running backs.
I'm going to take Ken, and we're going to move on from this.
So the next matchup is Laura over Maddie. It's a close matchup on here. Laura's got 116.3 over Maddie at 112.41. You know what? I got Maddie in my tier 3. My tier 4. I just don't like Maddie's tier. I got Maddie in my tier 4. I love.
Your wife?
I like Laura's team better than you do. I have her as a tier 2 player, so I think it's a no-brainer. I think it's going to be not even close on this one.
Oh,
I think Laura wins 125 to 105.
So after you look at the Ken matchup and you've released, there's no built-up frustration about this matchup and how any past or history has hurt you in what's been said over the years or months. So nothing like that's influenced you.
Nothing.
Okay. So I like both teams equally bad. And I got to say, again, it's the beginning of the season, reviewing the teams. Your argument for top 5 running backs that probably won't finish in the top 8. Maybe one will finish in the top 10. I'm going to go with Laura because Maddie's that bad.
Wow. Okay. I guess we'll move on to my matchup. I'm favored by 10 points, 117.75.
Eric, just so you know, it's going to be pretty brutal after this week for Fantasy Baseball podcast.
I'm favored by 10 points, 117.75 over Darren at 107.47. Darren's team really doesn't scare me. I got him in the bottom tier. His running backs suck. His receivers are average at best. Like at every point, even quarterback, I think I dominate him. So I got to win here.
All right. So this is my upset of the week. Upset of the week right here. I've been listening to some podcasts. I've been listening to some influencers telling me that the running back is the most important part. And analyzing the 4 starting running backs that I see in this, I am going to go with my gut that tells me Darren is going to take out my podcast host. So I'm going Darren. Darren with the win. Don't cry on this one. I can see it coming up.
I'd almost bet you that Alvin Kamara outscores all of his running backs combined. So, but we'll move on.
Wait. How much do you want to place on that?
No, I just said it almost. Anyways, we'll move on. Right. We'll move on to my upset special here.
You can't change this. It wasn't going to be.
We got Scott favored over Dave at 122.26 and Dave at 113.55. So it's like a 9-point swing on it, a little bit less. I actually think Dave's team, because they've got Zeke Elliott rated so low in this.
I think Collins should be started this week.
Yeah, I actually think Dave wins this by a smidge, so I'm picking Dave on this one.
So, Scotty was borderline 1 for me, tier 1. I really like his team. I'm crossing my fingers.
It's a tough matchup. This is the best matchup of the week.
I would say so. It'll probably be one of 2 things. It's either going to be half a point when I lost in a championship game against Laura, or it is going to be like somebody's going to crush one another. So I'm not going to pick against myself in this, but Scotty is got a great team, going to be tough, and it's going to be a fun matchup to watch. So we will see what happens. So, Scotty, I hope you lose, unfortunately, on this one.
Okay, so for our final segment, or I'm sorry, we got one more before that.
Did you want to go finish first?
Did you want to go over the team names?
No, we're gonna save that.
Okay.
So wait, but I will say this topic coming up. Maybe not this week. Well, not this week. Maybe not next week. We're saving this. I want people to really think about names. Some names have changed. That's good. There's some really lame names out there, and they just need to change. Have some creativity. Have some fun with it. Put 10 minutes of thought into it. That's all I'm asking. 10 minutes it's almost as much as you spend on your time for baseball for a whole week, or if you don't play baseball for a few days. We're going to talk about team names. So make them good, and if they're bad, we're going to talk about how bad they really are. So we'll save that, though.
Hey, Maddie, I like your get in the box there. So, okay. The final thing we want to bring you guys in on. So, Apt has every year they do this football pick'em, and Dave and I have participated since we've both been there. And essentially, what it is we get to pick a team. You get to buy two teams. They're $30 a piece. 2 teams each. So
we
we've
have
got
4
4 picks total. And every week, Dave and I go in on it. So we say if you win or if I win, and we discuss our picks. We sort of share them. But we want to bring you guys in on this. We're hoping you guys will respond within this thread and give us some suggestions and stuff. We have a couple locks, a couple things that we go over.
Up to how much can we win?
$24,000. So each square, yeah. It's $30 each, and there's 750 people in on this. So
a lot of people,
and they don't take a dime out of it. It's a great thing that they do to just boost morale in the store, and we love it. Dave and I have been huge on it. We've made it pretty far. We've almost made it. Like we were like within the top 100, and then a miracle happened and we lost. Anyways, so this week we're going 4 picks. Now we do have the ability, since we're on 2 separate teams, I can't pick the same team. I can't go Ravens twice. But he can't go Ravens twice. But he can pick Ravens and I can pick Ravens. So the 3 locks we have for this week are Ravens over the Dolphins, which is pretty much we hate the Dolphins. We were talking about the Dolphins' philosophy. We might pick against them every week. Ravens over the Dolphins. Eagles
except
over
when they
Washington.
play Josh Allen and the Bills.
Eagles over Washington and Seahawks over the Bengals. So those are our 3 locks. We're really high on those ones. And the 2 possibility ones, now, again, we can take those 3 and we can both take the Ravens over the Dolphins and then just take the other 2. Or we want you guys to know, should we take the Browns over the Titans or the Chargers over the Colts?
So we're going to
thoughts on those?
We're going to put that Survey Monkey up, right?
Yes, I'll have it up with this link.
Along with Josh Allen?
With the Survey Monkey on that as well.
So please participate within the next few days.
We have to pick it by Saturday, end of day. So we have till 7 o'clock Saturday.
Yeah, essentially meaning you have to put it in, Friday, really. We should have it in by
Saturday. Saturday's the deadline, though.
Right. So it's fun for us. We want to involve you guys. Help us out. If I am the chump and I've won 20 grand by that time, it'll be one hell of a party. Well,
that's the thing is we're like, hey, if you guys help us win, we're going to have a big party, spend that 20 grand and throw a big party in a kegger. So, hey, we'll host, what was the Doggy Decathlon next year, and it'll be a premium beer.
and let me tell you, with the kegger on the percentage beer that I will put in that fucking keg, everybody can spend the night because you will get fucked up. So, yep, I'm good with that.
That wraps up our podcast. I'd like to thank my color commentator and co-host, David Kochanowski. Any last words?
I do have a last word. I am going to try to do a different jersey every week. Who's this?
Zeke.
Flip it around. Who?
Zeke,
no.
Right? Oh, no. That's Smith.
Emmitt Smith, greatest running back ever. Greatest running – wait, you're not there yet. Greatest running back ever. I know there's a guy that played in Chicago many years ago that was supposed to be good, so I wore this one because I'm a Cowboys fan also. I've got a lot of jerseys coming out. Going to try to do one every week. But I specifically wore this one special for all the Bears fans to know the best running back ever. No controversy, has the most numbers. Who's that?
I picked the most dominant defensive player in the league right now. So
who is that?
Khalil Mack. Khalil Mack.
Did you really go out and buy a Khalil Mack jersey?
Yes, that was my Christmas present.
Oh, I thought they were giving those away.
Anyways, thank you for listening to Bald Guys Talking Fantasy. We appreciate it, and hopefully you guys give us some good feedback. Love you guys. Thanks. Peace out.
Good night.